Hello there. It's March the 4th, Friday, March 4th, and it's Fridays with Father. Nice to be with you here again today on rather a pleasant day. It's, not too cold, it's bright outside, and there's just those signs of spring, right? It's like signs of life, which is it's a great thing. So you can see why in some ways we celebrate, Lent and Easter sort of in springtime because even the even nature, is starting to sort of come out of the darkness, springs of life, So all those kind of themes kind of add to our beauty, really, the beauty of knowing that in Jesus, there's always new life. So anyway, I'm happy to be here with you. There's a couple of things that I keep forgetting to say, and just one of them has come to me now. So a few weeks ago, I was talking to you about Our Lady of Lourdes, in France, when Our Lady appeared to Saint Bernadette, and I talked about the movie and stuff like that. And I was telling you that, to my shame as a Catholic, I'd never been to Lourdes, and I lived not far from there, really, and I'd never been. So a friend of mine, that's right, told me that I could still visit Lourdes if I wanted to. And I was thinking, wow, she's going to pay for a trip for me, but actually not the case. But what my friend showed me was that online, on the internet, there is a site you can go to which has a webcam of the grotto of Lourdes in France. And you can visit there any time of the day or night. And there she is. There's the grotto where Mary appeared, and there's the statue of Mary as she appeared. And there are candles, and it's all live, and so depending what time of day you go, you'll find it during the day, you'll find it at night, and what I find it fascinating is if I go like in the evening here, like at 8 o'clock at night, it's like in early hours of the morning over in France, and there's a great silence there, a great silence, and it's very prayerful, even when you're watching the grotto online, and then you just hear like the tweet of birds, birds tweeting, or the little sounds of nature in the background. It's very atmospheric and just a very very holy experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have our office put online the link. They'll put it on social media and they'll put it on the parish website so that you can see for yourself. So you don't actually have to, invest in like a flight to go to Lourdes, fly to Paris and then take a train or something. You can actually visit the grotto of Our Lady of Lourdes in the comfort of your room. So if you ever want to have that little special moment with Mary, when you want to say a Hail Mary or something, and you don't necessarily have like a statue or something, you can just go online and you can be in the grotto right before Mary, our mother, and you can say that special prayer. So I'm reminding you of that. Well, I'm telling you this now because it reminded me to sort of give you that information, that there is an online grotto. There's a webcam, and you can visit Lourdes. So when you get the chance, please do it. Maybe do it now during Lent, as something extra. Maybe add it to your list of things, So the other thing I was going to say was, Ash Wednesday, which was beautiful. We had a lot of people come in, and from everywhere, to receive ashes, and that was like the big thing. Is that people want the ashes, don't they? Really, and you have to take people where they're at, and it's a beautiful thing that people, however kind of lapsed or distant they are from the faith, they show up on a Ash Wednesday, and they want to receive, ashes, because it reminds them of who they are, and reminds them in some ways of how important actually God and faith is, So even if it's just that moment, each year, it's just kind of a special moment for them. So we're very happy to open our doors and have a lot of good attendance at our masses and services and distribution of ashes. And it just, for me, seeing all these people coming, a lot of people who were not regulars here at Church of the Holy Spirit, it reminded me, that all those people out there, all those that, they're just part of the people. So they're just part of the people that we need to reach. They're just some of the people we need to reach, and we need to bring them to Jesus. Bring them to the Lord. So and it was my note to self, and I also mentioned to the staff here that, for next year, when we have we have Ash Wednesday, sorry, we need to be ready, because all of those people will come, and they will come for ashes. So we need to, when they come, we need to try and reach them. We'll try and do something a bit extra, just to try and reach out to them and sort of, maybe make a connection, or get them to think about, coming to something else here at Church of the Holy Spirit. In other words, not just to let them go, get ashes and run, want to let them get ashes and then take us with them, in their hearts or in their minds or in some ways. So that's me planning ahead already for next year. But, that's what we need to be about here at Church of the Holy Spirit and everywhere, is bringing people to Jesus, where Jesus is waiting for us all. So Ash Wednesday was great. What was the day before, the palm burning? Thank you so much. That was really nice. Thank you for coming in great numbers. And it only lasted 40 minutes or so. But it was great fun, and it was, it had meaning, because you got to see the palms, going up in flames, and people could actually put their own palm into the fire, and it just connects us really to the core of ourselves and what we are about here, which is about coming to God in prayer and allowing God to bring us together. And we had punchkis, and we had hot chocolate, and I'm sorry that the punchkis ran out, but next year we'll have more. And the weather was just perfect, and I thought, this is just a great way to kick off Lent, So we've kicked off Lent. We're now in Lent, This is, these few days after Ash Wednesday, now we're ramping up to the first weekend, Sunday in Lent, and all the different rigors and activities that come with it. So think about how you want to make that special, Think about, all the different things that you can do. And there are lots of opportunities. We've got lists of different things, and there is the praying of the way of the cross, and we'll be talking about that more in the weeks to come, the way of the cross, because it's a beautiful prayer. But make the time special. Make it special in some way or another. I wanted to say to you that I usually try and read something different, each year, just to sort of set the tone, just to read something different. And I'm not talking about fiction or a book of jokes or something. I'm thinking about, a spiritual book. I pick up something spiritual. And so somebody recommended to me, somebody which I'd never read before, but you probably know her quite well. And her name is Kathleen Norris. And she's written a number of good, best-selling books. And she's a good spiritual writer. And she's not Catholic, but her books, her writings have enough theology in them to make you stop and think, and so they have significance in our faith as Catholics. So I'm reading a book right now, and I recommend it. It's called Amazing Grace, and it's by Kathleen Norris, and I believe she's still alive. This book was out in the 90s, so I might be sort of I might be sort of speaking to the converted when it comes to Kathleen Norris, but she's new to me, right? And I like her because she writes simply, and she writes in very small chapters, no long chapters, and she's very succinct, and it's based in real life action, if you like. So it's very accessible for anybody who is looking for something to pick up. So like this book, Amazing Grace, just to give you some idea of the titles of the chapters. One is Belief and Doubt. One is Perfection. One is Exorcism. One is Oppression. One is Ecstasy, one is worship. So all these different things, and she addresses all these different themes through her own lived experience. So I'm just going to tell you about a couple of the chapters I read. There's a little chapter in here on silence, silence. And I think she worked as like an artist, and she'd worked in many schools with kids and stuff like that. So in one the chapter on silence, she talks about she was in class with these kids, small kids, and she gave them an exercise to do. It was kind of like an experiment for herself. And she sort of said, what we're going to do is we're going to have you all make as much noise as you possibly can, and you're going to do that. And then after that, once you've done that, then you can what you got to do is be completely silent. You've got to make things silent as you can. So they did this, and so the kids, when she said, right, I'm going to make the noise now. So of course kids made loads of noise. They were jumping up and down, screaming, shouting, creating havoc basically, made lots and lots of noise. And so then she stopped them. She said, now she said, what I want you to do is to make silence. And so they made silence. But she did tell them, she said, what this means is it's not about you. You can't hold your breath and you can't pull funny faces or anything. You have to sort of be serious about making silence. And so the kids just remained still. And they didn't move. And they didn't make a noise for the designated period, And they did it. The kids were able to do it in a very special way. Then after that, after they'd done those two things, she asked the kids to describe both experiences, what making a noise was like. Now, making a noise was easy because there's lots of like sayings, it sounded like, a car, or it sounded like a herd of elephants or things like that. But when it came to silence, she was amazed at how these children could say very deep things, very beautiful things about the experience of silence. Now, some of the kids she noticed found it really easy to get into the silence mode, and it was kind of like a revelation to them. And some kids, they said they found it scary being silent. They found it scary because they felt like they were waiting for something, to happen, and they were scared. But they said some really nice things. So one kid said, being silent was like being a tree, being silent like a tree. And another one said silence was like, the branches of the tree moving towards the sunlight, which is really very, very beautiful, But they said a very deep, profound experience. Somebody said, silence is like me when I'm sleeping and before I wake up, Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. So that was the chapter I read. But the importance, I think, that Kathleen was kind of trying to put over was like the beauty of both and the importance of silence in a world which has got a lot of noise. And it's easy for us to make noise. It was easier for the kids to make noise than it was to make silence. But the kids did it because they were open to being shown how to make silence. And then they were even more, in some ways, like talented at describing what it meant to them, So I put that to you, for me, reading that chapter in this book by Kathleen Norris reminded me that, this time in Lent is maybe a time when I should try and be silent, intentionally make silence happen in my life, inside me, and then, try and describe what it was like, because God is present in the silence and God is present in the noise. So we need to experience both. So that's just one of the little chapters that I read in Amazing Grace by Kathleen Norris, and that's the book I'm reading during this Lent. So, I'm not saying you have to read this book, but I mean, read some book. Read some spiritual book, something which connects you faithfully to Jesus Christ in your prayer life. Because we're called to prayer at this time, You had ashes stuck on your head and it has to mean something, and if it means anything, then let it mean that you are trying to engage in prayer with Jesus in your life. And maybe one way of doing that is by sort of opting to take a bit of silence each day. Okay? Opting to take a bit of silence each day and taking it seriously. So, on that note, I will now make a pitch, because as pastor, it's part of my job to make a pitch regarding the different activities that we do have going on in Lent to help you pray, but also as part of our Jubilee year, which is, our 50th Jubilee this year, and every month we have something special. And so, the special thing that's happening for us during Lent is a parish retreat. Yes, we're having a day, and which you're all invited to attend, from 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's a Lenten retreat. Now, I believe, from what I'm told, it's been many, many years since you had a parish retreat together. And so we thought it'd be a great opportunity for you to do that as we celebrate our new year, our Jubilee year, and as we start to pray, and we're still praying for renewal here in our parish. So I invite you to come together with me for the retreat, and it's April 2nd from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And you can sign up, via the usual way, or just turn up, which is fine. There's more details coming about it, but please think about that. I know it's going to Saturday morning, it's Saturday, and it seems like a long time, and you'll think and you'll say, well, on Saturdays I do this, Saturdays I go jogging, or Saturdays I do laundry, or Saturdays I go grocery shopping, or Saturdays are the only days when I can be with my family and stuff like that. Well, I'd like you to think about, sort of maybe, taking a break from all of that, just to be here with Jesus and your parish family, just for one day, from 10 in the morning till 4, and to engage in prayer with us on your own, and to be with Jesus together and on your own, and to just allow Jesus to guide you that day as part of this community here at Church of the Holy Spirit. And the focus for the retreat will in fact be the way of the cross. And it's, the way of the cross, I think the retreat is called Living the Way of the Cross, as a pathway to renewal, really. Because, those stations that we have in the church, you find in any Catholic church, they're not just decoration, they're part of a prayer of the church called the Stations of the Cross, or the Way of the Cross. And, we actually get to walk in the steps of Jesus. We get to walk with him prayerfully. And, by doing that, it can transform our lives. Every station has got a message for you. Every station has got a direction for you to turn in your life. And so we want to do a bit of that with you, So I hope you can join me. I must be honest and say, that when I was asked to be a part of this Jubilee retreat, I thought, really? I was thinking, right now? I wasn't very excited because, I've got so much on right now, especially planning for like the services of Holy Week. And then we got the new people, becoming Catholics during Holy Week. And we got, confirmation retreats and all that kind of. I thought, one extra thing, do I really need that? And I thought, well, no, I don't need that really. But then when I thought about it, I thought, well, yeah, but this is my life, isn't it? My life is to be a part of CHS here and now. And so it should be my pleasure and my privilege to join with all these people and to see what God has got to say to us on April 2nd at the retreat. So you might think, well, I don't need anything. I don't need that right now. I got so much other stuff going on in my life. But I just want to say to you, maybe God, wants you to be, in prayer with us on that day. Why not give him a chance? I'm not a very good salesperson, but, I would just heavily suggest you think about joining us. You know, there's always a million other things you could be doing. As I say, I mean, I need another retreat. I need another activity like a hole in the head. But I do need to be with you during this Jubilee, and I do need to pray with you because it's part of my life. And so I'd really love it if you would give time on April the 2nd to pray with us and to pray with me on that day. So you've got a month to think about it, but don't think too long. So you can't say, that it was too short notice. You got a month, and I say it's just one Saturday out of all the Saturdays of the year. Please join us if you can. And I was going to say something else to you today, but I've run out of time, really. I don't want to keep you much longer. And you've got things to do, and I've got things to do as well. Except, most importantly, I've got Holy Hour this evening. Yeah, Fridays in Lent, we will have the Way of the Cross, but when it's First Friday, we'll have the Holy Hour instead. So this evening at 6:30, join us in prayer. Silent prayer before Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament for our monthly Holy Hour. Okay, so please come if you can. And if you can't, please send us your intentions via the website, and I will raise your prayers for you. Okay, so be joyful, keep the faith. Bye-bye.